Bienvenidos a L.A. en un minuto con Evan Lovett. Oh, wait. That's your bit.
Well, for those of you that don't know, we are introducing Gloria today. She is indispensable to the show, and welcome to the show. This is another episode of In a Minute with Evan Lovett, coming to you live from the I Am Studios in the heart of L.A. And Gloria is the beating heart of this show, and we want to introduce her today because she puts a lot of effort, a lot of work, and actually keeps this thing running. So Gloria, welcome, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. It's definitely interesting being on this side.
Anybody who's reached out to sponsor, to partner, to inquire, Gloria is the first stop. I always like to, you guys know, I answer my DMs directly. But when we start getting organized and start trying to balance and maintain all the work we do between LA in a Minute and In a Minute with Evan Lovett, it goes through Gloria, who's become indispensable just over a year now, right?
Just over a year. That's right.
So wait, you started what, August of last year?
Yeah, I think we had been in conversation for some time before then.
True.
I remember you popped up on my TikTok and when we were like deep in COVID.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know this guy because I knew you before we started working together.
So we're doing the origin story.
So I'm like,
okay.
I know this guy. It was you with the newspaper and Felix. And I'm like, what in the world? And we had reached out and we talked. We had dinner with you and Irene.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about the reintroduction dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those that don't know, I had started, first and foremost, my original episodes of LA in a Minute were me holding up a newspaper, just talking about like stories that happen in LA. And thank you for those of you who have been here since then. But thank you anybody who was interested in that, because I'm looking back and I'm like, I can't believe that's LA in a Minute started. But as it grew and it became bigger, I produced a lot of episodes and I just needed somebody to help me stay organized, to help me start to balance, opportunities that were coming in, whether they're speaking engagements at schools or events and doing all the filming, and the podcast came about. And I'm pretty organized, but it's tough sort of getting my arms around all this, doing the filming, the editing, the writing, the reach outs, the emails, the calls, the Zooms. So I'd always talk to my wife. And by the way, for those of you that maybe wonder, Gloria is not my wife. My wife is the beautiful Irene Lovett, who is also indispensable to the show, but a much more behind the scenes role. But I was saying, do I need somebody to help? I do need somebody to help, but I couldn't quite figure out the role. And then this is when Gloria, I guess, had seen me on TikTok.
Yeah.
And you run a company, like you are your own company.
Right.
Explain that a little bit.
So I run my own company. I do operations management for creatives only. So it's a very niche role. And so it's not something that I could post on LinkedIn and have people reach out to me. I'm very specific with the people that I work with. I have to believe in what they're doing and I have to believe in the person. So I'm a very picky person to work with myself. You think you're picky. But I too am, of the kind to be, I really need to believe in the work that I'm doing. And I had known you before. Yes. So I had known Felix and Irene prior. Yeah. And I saw you come up as during COVID, reached out, we talked. You were still in a space of trying to figure out what was LA in a Minute. Yes. I was still honestly trying to figure out what I was doing with my company. Right. And so it was great catching up. Wished each other the best. Still followed you. Didn't unfollow.
You're right, because it was very early. That's right. Where I was like, oh, that's interesting and great to reconnect. Hold on. Before we jump on that, let's talk about our original connection. Where did we meet? Why did we know each other? Because again, there have been inquiries. There have been people and all respect. And I appreciate people like, do you need help? Can I do anything? As much as I'm a quote unquote public figure right now, I'm very private and like, weird about people and about people like coming into my space and this LA in a Minute thing that I had created, where it's like, I can't just let anybody sort of take a look at this and get under the hood and like help me out and come into the studio. But I knew Gloria. Yeah. So you had reached out and I was like, okay, that's cool. She's doing that. But I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to like hire anybody or partner with anybody. But then we had the dinner, which you're right. How did that come? How did we get to that point?
Yeah. So before I do, should we talk about our sponsor?
This is important.
It's a good one.
This is today's sponsor, by the way. We love Ardo Brick. Ardo Brick is still sponsored, but this is a very special partner. This is Bad Badger Treats, okay? This is hot chocolate / chocolate milk. And I will tell you right now, this is the truth. Felix loves this. He will not go to bed without a glass of this. What this isn't just LA made and produced hot chocolate powder, but this is protein infused. 10 grams of protein per serving. You're wondering how to get your kid or yourself protein. Look at this, 0.5 grams of fat per serving, 10 grams of protein per serving. You could feel good as a parent, like giving your kid a treat because, like I said, Felix actually loves this and it's a good product. And I always drink it. I always make extra so I can have some. But this is, most importantly, a family that I know, a family friend, Charlie Curtis, personal trainer, great dude, baseball coach, who launched this product literally from his garage, and it's taken off. It's getting some traction. We're friends with his wife, Erica, his 2 kids, Ace and Wilder, who are awesome, awesome kids, and friends with Felix, but fueling little bodies for big adventures, LA-based company. And honestly, have your kids have a glass of this before dinner every night. Get their protein, have a delicious snack that you can feel good about and that they're going to feel great about. Bad Badger, go to badbadgertreats.com and put in the discount code in a minute and you'll get 15% off your first order. It's legit. We swear by it as a family. All right, Gloria. Let's get back to what's our origin story. How did we meet?
So we met when Felix was going to preschool. I worked at the preschool that Felix went to. Yeah. So Felix is now 12.
Felix is 12.
And he started preschool
when he was like 1.5, too early. You guys started crazy. I didn't understand. Listen, I'm a father, only child. I did homework. I'm so prepared, but I also like don't know how these things work.
Yeah.
And when I heard your kid's supposed to go to school like 18 months, but he had to be potty trained. And I'm like, dude, we're not even potty trained. Anyway, we wanted to send him to an immersion preschool. And so we go there, we do the orientation. We fell in love with it. It's outside, it's playing, it's Spanish language. My wife's Mexican, which I bring up every time. She kind of teases me. She's like, stop, you don't need to tell everybody every time. But like, but we wanted bilingual. I was learning Spanish. We wanted to raise our kid learning Spanish. We sent him to this immersion preschool, which was a great, great school that Gloria happened to be like, I don't even know your title there, but you were the same thing there seemingly that you do here, which is everything. And the person who's the point person for all the discussions and organization. What did you do there?
I guess my official role was administrator of the preschool.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, I had my hand in a lot of things at the school. And honestly, there was so many families and you connect with them on a personal level because you're helping raise their child. And it was not something that we took lightly. And so we created a lot of wonderful bonds with the parents that I fortunately have been able to continue on. And now they're friends, much like you and Irene. I have many parents that are now I can call friends because we were there.
All right. So it was a great program, Spanish immersion, outdoor learning. I believe they used a phrase, something to the effect of like child-directed learning.
It's Reggio inspired.
Reggio inspired, which is honest. It was great. And every time I'd go, and my parents lived by there. Both of my parents have passed away since, unfortunately, but it was also blocks from my parents' house.
Yeah.
So I could pick up Felix every day and he'd get to see his grandparents, which is such a treat. Yeah. And he loved it. I loved it. They loved it.
They came by to the grandparents' events, when
trunk or treat.
Yeah, trunk or treat. They were there, yeah.
So that's where we met. And honestly, Gloria is she's a radiant personality, but she's also got that like don't fuck with her vibe a little, so it's tough to like balance that. So you have this friendly person that also is not a pushover, which is impressive. Like that's a tough balance for any person.
That's the Salvadorian in me.
There you go. Okay. And she's Salvadorian, proud LA culture, proud culture, but also very well represented in LA. Shout out to who's a previous guest. But she's somebody that's memorable and somebody that did a great job and somebody that Felix loved, Felix at the time was a little bit shy, but he liked Miss Gloria, as they called you. Yeah. So we had our experience there. and we left, right?
Right.
And,
it was time for you guys to move on.
And then, so sadly, not sadly, I mean, we on to bigger and better thing. He goes to an immersion school in Glendale. And by the way, we're still friends with a lot of the families from that school, which is a testament from preschool age to the school, to the relationships and all that stuff.
Focused.
So then flash forward, Gloria pops up. She's like, hey, you need any help or whatever on the first mention. I'm like, oh shit, like Gloria's doing this now, blah, blah, blah. But then how did we get to the dinner? That was where it all kind of like really started.
Yeah, so we had our first like Zoom, and then you weren't in the space.
Did
I was
we
trying
really
to figure
Zoom?
out.
We really had a
we
Zoom?
We zoomed.
So
yeah,
formal. You're
I
so
know.
professional.
Very,
okay.
We were very professional.
I know.
Are you kidding?
Okay.
We still are.
Yes.
But it wasn't time. It wasn't a good time for either one of us. So fast forward to last year.
Yeah. It had to be like last summer.
Yeah. And you were still popping up on my feed. I was still loving the content you were sending. I could see that there was like a rev up on your end.
Yeah.
And part of my magic is understanding the creative.
Yeah.
And I was able to see the trajectory of where LA in a Minute was going without us having had that conversation. So based off of our first conversation to what was coming up on my feed, I'm like, oh, he's churning out content. And it wasn't fluff. It was like genuine, informative content.
Thank you.
One of it was, I want to be part of this. I still want to be part of this.
Yeah, thank you. Right.
Second part of it is like, I can make this easier on him.
Right.
And then that's when I reached out again. I'm like, dude, you're doing great stuff. And it was a genuine reach out where it was just like, this is amazing. I'm like so happy, so proud, like that you're doing what you're doing, kicking ass.
Well, thank you.
And then you're like, oh, you should come by, the house, have dinner with Irene and Felix and I, and we could do a catch up because we hadn't really caught up at that point.
Right.
So I didn't really know what was going on with LA in a Minute. You didn't know what was going on with my life. So I'm like, yeah, bet, let's do it. And then I found myself at your place.
Yeah.
Having some bomb ass. I think it was what was it? Enchiladas.
Yes.
It was enchiladas.
Absolutely. And Irene's a great cook, by the way.
Amazing
a
cook.
Great host.
Yes.
Beautiful house.
Yes.
Thank you, Irene.
Yes.
But we had a good time. Like the chemistry's
time.
There. And Gloria just has a good understanding of the business of LA in a Minute, of what we were trying to do. Because the podcast was basically just recently launched at that point, or had it even the podcast was audio only at that point, and then we were transitioning to video. Shout out Seven Eckies, great production team. Appreciate you guys. But it was a crucial time because LA in a Minute, or In a Minute Media, was growing, and I'm always producing content. You guys know that. Hopefully that's why you're here. It's not easy. It's a lot of work, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the point. I love it. But it is difficult to stay organized and be like, I'm going to San Pedro, but I'm also going to Pasadena. Oh, and then I need to go to Malibu. It's a lot of, how do we schedule this out? Interviews, editing, just keeping me organized and keeping me focused. And the timing was right. And we hit it off. Gloria's obviously very intelligent, very insightful.
But you did test me.
What'd we do? What was
because you were like, are you really LA?
Wait, so okay, that's a fair question. Let's give us your LA bona fides now.
Okay, let's get this.
What's the origin story?
Okay. So I was born and raised in LA.
Yeah.
Born at Cedars.
Yep.
Shout out to Cedars.
Classic. Yeah.
And lived in K-Town for about 14 years. Moved out to Glassell Park. Went to high school, for like a month at Belmont. Okay. Then moved over to Eagle Rock, graduated from Eagle Rock High, and went to college to CSUN.
See, these are classic and great.
Yeah.
Now you're talking to my heart here. I mean, Koreatown, Glassell Park, Eagle Rock, Northridge. Come on. And that's covering a lot of ground, right? So I'm in love with just the structure on that, where I'm like, okay, this isn't just LA. That's like a lot of good LA experience and communities that we love and like talk about that are super important. So you passed that test.
And I think that's where we hit it off because it was really like our genuine love for the city.
Yeah.
And I think part of it was you trying to find someone that could understand that concept, that it's not just like a gimmick, that you genuinely love the city and the people in the city and the community. And I've always been about that as well. I love LA and our sports and our communities and the way we come together.
By the way, cross country runner, right? Or was it cross country or track?
Yeah, I did. I did both. I did cross country and track in high school. Yeah. So I love the sense of community that our city has. And I think that's kind of where we hit it. And it was just genuine connection, right? It was just like, I get where you're going. Yeah. I get where you want to take this. Yeah. Let me help you. But usually when I come into a business, I'm the first hire out, which is very scary for a creative because this is your baby, right? And you're like, I don't let anybody in. And now all of a sudden, I have to give you some information, some control. And at the beginning, I told you, it usually takes about 3 to 4 months. Okay. Now, do you want to get into it?
Yeah, keep going. This is where. Well, first I want to ask you on Eagle Rock. Do you think that rock looks like an eagle?
Of course it looks.
Felix and I always
in the right angle when you're there at the right time.
Yeah.
On the 134.
Okay. Here's what I just learned. I always thought, and for those of you that know the Eagle Rock, off the 134, it's friggin' awesome, right off of Barack Obama Memorial Highway, who went to Occidental, by the way. There's a huge rock that like looks like an eagle. And I always thought it was like the big rock has like the eagle face. And that's how I saw it. And Felix is like, no, it doesn't look like an eagle. It doesn't look like an eagle. But apparently the eagle part of it is like the wings and the like the eagle flying. Yeah. But I was like, oh yeah, that definitely looks like an eagle. And I see why. So you saw that? You knew that? That was the whole...
Yeah, absolutely. I can't say when. I went to high school there. So it was just like a thing that we always knew. Yeah. But you have to be like driving at a specific time of the day where like the shadow hits that peak. Yeah. Where you can very much see that it's like an eagle flying.
Yeah, it totally is. Yeah. But there's two eagles though, as far as I'm concerned. The huge eagle bust or the eagle silhouette. So anyway, so you get on board. How did we be like, yeah, let's do it? What consummated that?
I think it was that last conversation that we had, that dinner. And I don't know, maybe Irene also. Shout out to Irene for giving me a job.
No, but because she saw me drowning. And this is the truth. I love this. I will do this, knock on wood, till I'm 85. And there's 10,000 episodes of LA in a minute and 1,000 podcast episodes. But it's a lot. And just staying focused, figuring out what's a priority, what's timely, balancing current events that happen, but getting to cover the entirety of LA. And as we know, it's so geographically huge and covering all that sometimes. But I was feeling overwhelmed and it was time. I was like, if we are going to grow, we need to hire. And shout out, by the way, I do want to establish, I have a business partner. He's integral to this business, helping get sponsors, partners, but he likes to stay behind the scenes, very valuable. And we also have somebody that works on a lot of the creative stuff, whether it's YouTube thumbnails or now recently we're doing Instagram thumbnails, but just an inspirational guy that is indispensable to the show as well. But those were people that were kind of like, hey, you're not, They never were on payroll. They're helping out, partnering for the bigger cause and things like that. But the meat of what I do, I needed to get my arms around, and it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I needed somebody. That was when Irene was giving me the push, and Gloria comes up. We have that great dinner, reconnect, great past. I knew her, I felt comfortable with her. And then so we're like, you're hired, let's go, right?
Yeah, that's where it was at. And then it was, but even though we knew each other and we had been knowing each other, this was a part of your life that I wasn't privy to. And it was very challenging for you to let go.
I'm an only child, by the way.
He's an only child and he shows it.
I try not to, in real life or in my day-to-day, I feel like I've done pretty well in my 4+ decades of not acting like an only child, but the people that know me best know that I'm absolutely an only child, which is what Gloria was about to find out like firsthand when she came on board. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to jump ahead, but I remember this. It's like, I know our first 3-4 months, it was always like, she'd be great. And she'd do what we set out to do and do more, be proactive. But I'd always just have a mood. And one day a month, it seemed like, where I would be like, wait, what are you really doing? Like, what's and I was like, okay, you need to prove. I would think I would tell her, even sometimes passive aggressive email, be like, but what are you really doing to like prove your value? Oh, it's so terrible. It's
very cringy.
But it was hard. So tell me about that experience, what it was like at the beginning, getting acclimated to me being quote unquote a boss, but like not. Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah. I think I always saw it as a partnership, a collaboration.
Yeah.
So for me, I felt, and because we knew each other, I felt comfortable enough to be like, oh, this isn't personal. Like this is him relinquishing his baby and relinquishing control has got to be really difficult because he just is this precious little thing that's now becoming this big thing.
Right.
And so it's almost like you were testing me. Like, are you in it? Are you in it? Are you in it? And it was like on a monthly basis where it was just like, prove it. And all I could do is show up every single time.
And I remember this. And I always at least like to think that I'm conscious of what I'm doing. Sometimes after the fact, like realize. But it was like the third or even fourth month of that same thing. And again, I know I am. It was like 3 weeks of like, oh, Gloria, you're doing a great job. Like, oh, thanks for the help. Like, oh, this is really helpful. Calendar to this day, most indispensable item that we have in this in this business is my daily calendar that she literally drew out visually on a whiteboard with tape for each day, so I can physically come in and see what I have today, tomorrow, next week, a month from now. But it's more than that. And so valuable contributions. But there would always be one day where whatever mood I was in, I would be like, no, you got to prove it. Why are we paying you? And finally you say to me one day, and I remember this, is you say to me, you're like, dude, and I'm paraphrasing, like, what the fuck is going on? Why do I need to prove myself every single month? We have this conversation every month. I'm here. I believe in you. I believe in us. I believe in what we're doing. Why do I need to prove my value and prove my worth every single month? Over and over, after you're telling me I'm doing a good job and we're having this good relationship, all of a sudden one day I come in and it's like, what are you doing? So like that was a wake up call for me that I knew that Gloria cared. I already knew that she cared, but like just seeing that and realizing like, all right, I need to let her do her job and to let her, because she had this vision of, providing this value, or she is providing this value that was cohesive with our vision as In a Minute Media. And I was almost impeding that by kind of, I don't even want to say testing you, but it was like, prove it to me. Like, which is terrible. It's a terrible way, but she stuck it out. And then so we finally got into more of a rhythm after that point, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that it was, to your credit, you were receptive to that conversation and you're like, okay, we need to shift a few things. Yeah. And I feel like it really started to flow then. Yeah. And we're, to this day, like we're not always in agreement with everything. Right.
And I'm still moody like that.
Yes,
sorry.
Yes.
So moody.
But we have those conversations. Yeah. And I think just in general, just having those hard conversations with people, communicating with people, as hard as it may sound or as easy as it may sound, consistently being like, hey, today's a shit day. Yeah. Or hey, today I'm not locked in like I usually am. Yeah. Giving each other grace and picking up. Like there'll be days where you're just like, I'm out of the office today. I'm like, cool. So I know I'm responding to every single email that comes through. You know, so you pick up the slack. Or if I have to be out with the kids, you know that I'm not going to be out as responsive. And so you're respecting of like my family time as well. So we have found like a good rhythm to our work relationship.
Communication was something you mentioned. And you're a great communicator and you're great on calling me on my bullshit, which again, shout out to Irene, because that's, like one thing that she's always done well. And this is what Gloria does well, is when I am moody or if I'm being a jerk or if I'm having an attitude, like you're there to be like, wake up, like snap out of it. Like you don't need to be like that, but you say it tactfully and you're sensitive enough where it doesn't upset my moods. So that's super important. Yeah. But okay. So let's talk about this. How do you see your role now? Like, tell the people, what do you do? What if somebody's like, so what does Gloria actually do for LA in a minute, for In a Minute with Evan and Lovett?
I'm a Jill of all trades.
Yes, true, very true.
So what I do many things that is needed, but just in general, whether it's email communication, invoicing, client contact. Sometimes I'm on the field with you when it's time to film. People should know that you don't have like all most of the content. Actually, no, all the content except for the podcast is Evan led. So I don't touch the editing or the scripting. That's all you. Sometimes you'll send me like stuff.
You're a good sounding board for that. That's important. I just recently sent you an episode.
Yeah.
It's a very sensitive topic coming up.
Yes.
Should I say it?
No, okay. People wonder.
But sometimes I'll be like, is this intro good? Is this title good? But this was like a full episode. Because again, Gloria, being an LA person, tried and true, and understanding like the LA ethos, and I'm not even gonna say like what people want, but you help me sort of like grasp the right approach if necessary, the right messaging sometimes on some of the episodes. So it's very integral in that sense, but it's not just organizing. It's not just being a sounding board. It's having somebody here to kind of understand the whole package of what's going on, how we're doing. Look, even things like merch. We recently got a new logo, rebranding. And again, shout out to my business partner. I know he wants to stay kind of under the radar, but that was his brainchild. But like the rollout and just the input of having a different voice. And let's be honest here, like Latina female, white Jewish male. It's good to have, especially in this city, it's good to have a different perspective on a lot of different issues. So, I mean, you're the first line of defense, and you're the first line of communication for what we do, which is indispensable.
Yeah, I think it's just very much. I also have a protective spirit to LA in a minute, and and also you are LA in a minute, so it's also understanding what your bandwidth is when it comes to like content and filming, because there'll be days where you're like 2-3 days deep into filming for the week. Yeah. And then we have other meetings and client communication or in-person appearances. Yeah. And that's just a Wednesday, right?
And it's tough. And look, I want to cover everything. Everybody that reaches out, I'm very thankful and grateful. But sometimes it's just trying to figure out what the most, I don't even want to say important because it's all important, but figuring out how to prioritize what to cover, whether it's events, announcements or things that people are rolling out. So I mean that I
think that's where to this day I think that's one of your biggest challenges, because you love the people of LA and you love when they reach out to you. Like when you guys send a DM, it's not me, it's not some random, it's like this guy. Like he's the one responding to these DMs.
I get excited. It's a true story. I love it. I love it.
He loves that, and I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think you are a man of the people, and so you love that communication and contact that you have with folks. And your eyes literally light up when someone recognizes you and they're like, LA in a minute, and then you give them a hat or a shirt. Like that's genuine enthusiasm for LA and for our people, you know? So it's, for me, it's like, okay, I want him to live in this space. So what is it that I need to take care of behind the scenes so that he could continue to be a creative and be with the people of LA and continue to provide great content?
You want to know what's funny? And thank you, by the way. That's perfectly eloquent. What's funny is you've always called me a creative, and you were the first person to refer to me as such. And it's so funny because I never consider myself in that category. You know, I'm a researcher, I'm a writer, but like I was a newspaper writer, which isn't creative. It's reporting. So I'm always like a little bit flattered when you call me a creative, and I get it, like a creative episode and stuff. So thank you for considering me a creative. All right, before we wrap it up, let's get in a little bit more about Gloria, because I think it's fun. Because you are a person about LA. Tell me about your favorite neighborhoods and or restaurants in Los Angeles.
I didn't prep for this.
I didn't prepare for this.
You actually didn't prepare me for this podcast.
You know what my question? I know we kind of threw her in the hot seat.
I was supposed to be back there.
So, but hold on, and I do want to say this. I'm changing this. People always ask your like favorite restaurant or your favorite taco or your favorite hamburger, and that's cool, and you can have a favorite. But it's also sometimes just one of the places you go to the most, that you're most comfortable at, where it's like, okay, this isn't necessarily the best taco in LA, but I like going there and I like eating there. And I like, what are your happy places in LA? How about that?
Oh gosh, my happy places.
Yeah.
Again, I feel very much in the spot because there's so many places. I mean, I still go to Eagle Rock. My parents still live out in Glassell Park. Highland Park has amazing spots there, just walking distance from one spot to the other.
Yeah, I was just out there.
Yeah, man. It's well, I don't know if I want to talk about the gentrification of it, but I was there prior to.
Okay, so Highland. Listen, I know we're talking about you, but I gotta say this because I'm so excited about it. Highland Park is, since I started LA in a Minute, that's the episode that people have asked me, you got to talk, because I always do Bell Garden, San Pedro, Silmar. I love hopefully I get to talk about all of LA's 572 neighborhoods in their own separate episode. Highland Park is the one that people have asked me about. You got to do Highland Park. You got to. And I've sort of hesitated in the sense that it is probably the most polarizing, just as far as it's the epicenter of the quote unquote gentrification struggle of LA. I have a close friend, Rudy. He grew up in Highland Park when it was run by the avenues and the street gangs there. And it was not the Highland Park of today. And it's funny because I have another friend who moved into Highland Park not as a gentrifier, but during the gentrification era. And he was like, oh, I love it. Like, there's so many cool bars and cool spots. And they're both baseball dads. So they always have this discussion like, bro, like you wouldn't have even made it in Highland Park, like when I was living there. But it is an awesome neighborhood. It's such a fun, like Bob Barker Marionette Theater, Highland Park Bowl, like, but it does have a complex history. So I recently did do an episode on an LA in a Minute episode, soon to be aired, about Highland Park. But actually, let's talk about Glassell Park for 1 second.
Yeah.
You know Foster's Freeze?
Of course I know Foster's Freeze. I would walk to Foster's Freeze.
That was the original. That was the original, the one in Glassell Park.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's the first. So that is pretty cool. And Glassell Park also has the, oh my God, was it not Helms? What's the, oh my God, with the windmill, Vandecamp?
Oh yeah.
Vandecamp was in Glassell Park. And now that has been, and the building's still preserved and gorgeous and like incredible LA history, but it's been turned into a school now, which I kind of think is good, like adaptive reuse.
Yeah, they kept like the facade. I don't know what the inside looks like, but the facade is still very much like what it was.
So you grew up in Glassell Park?
Yeah, well, my parents moved there when I was 14.
So you had some good years. So that's some serious years.
So I know my way around.
What was that
area.
Like? I don't know a ton about that except those two historical tidbits.
But just like the moving part.
No, the area. Where was Glassell Park?
Yeah, well, like your friend was saying, like I remember the avenues. I remember like you know the local liquor store where my mom would get like tamales from, like it's, you know, it's just one of those random things. And then there'd be tagging, or there would be, you know, someone got hit the night before, so it was just kind of all part of it. But I think LA is like, you take it for the good, the bad, and the ugly kind of thing, you know. Like I remember when we were in K-Town and the riots, right? Man. Or like the Northridge earthquake. There's very
telling you important. That's what I love about it. These are like important LA communities. Yeah. They're all important, by the way.
Yeah, all important. And it kind of makes you LA because you experience these things, right? And there's a lot of transplants that come in. I think we were just speaking to someone this morning where they've been here for like 25 years. And at what point do we stop calling them transplants, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a whole conversation for another day. But I think my love for LA continues, will always continue. I love how people genuinely reach out to you, and a lot of people don't know that I'm here, but that's totally okay.
And Gloria
because
is here, and she is, again, I keep coming back to that word because it's true, indispensable.
I appreciate it.
I do want to give you one more question.
Yeah.
Can you give me talk about the Salvadorian community and what that means to you and your heritage, especially here in LA. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So both my parents are from El Salvador.
Yeah.
I was born here, but my first language was Spanish. Wow, I didn't learn English until I was in second grade, Cahuenga Elementary. And there isn't me without El Salvador. There isn't me without my culture. The people, my family, my friends. It's such a beautiful country. It's such a beautiful people. We really are about caring for each other and being there for each other, whether you're family, a friend, or not. It's something that we've made LA, LA.
Absolutely.
Immigrants have made LA, LA. And I think our generation is really about highlighting that and the importance of immigrants, because the generation before us, many have been deported, or many are in hiding and are in fear. And I believe it's my responsibility as a U.S. citizen to highlight not just my culture and my people, but go out and vote. Yeah. Because there's so many that are affected by it if I don't. There's so many that have died for that right. You know, who am I to say, I'm too busy, I can't, right? So just showing up for my people in any way I possibly can. And credit to you that you do your best to be able to highlight these different cities and these different towns that are underrepresented, because that's what we need to do. And I think that's part of our mission as LA in a Minute, is highlighting these amazing people that are just considered like everyday Joes, everyday Janes, but in reality, it's they are the fabric of Los Angeles.
That's what makes LA, and that's the absolute truth. The people, the richness of culture, the diversity, and people exactly like Gloria. So thank you, Gloria, for being here. Thanks for allowing yourself to to be exposed to the world, and hopefully you don't get deluged with inquiries, but maybe reach out. She's here now. But seriously, Gloria, thank you so much, and thank you for everything you've done for LA in a Minute, in a Minute with Evan Lovett, I Am Media, and just the continuation of our growth and helping be the backbone and the heartbeat of this show and everything we do.
No, thank you, y muchas gracias, Los Angeles.
Muchas gracias, and thank you guys all. And all right, LA, it's been a minute.